Welcome back to our second playthrough of Atlantic Chase from GMT Games, and we're doing the solo scenario B3, which is the Bismarck scenario. It's actually called Operation Rhine, but it is the Bismarck scenario, and we will jump right back into the action. All right, so British will roll for weather. The weather stays bad. Now we will roll on the British action table with a +1. So 2 is an X result. So we're going to roll on the selection table to find out who is going to try to intercept the Bismarck. And it is going to be a C result, which is the nearest task force with a carrier. So it is not good weather. And the weather is good, roll a die. If even it performs an airstrike, okay. So we select the nearest task force with an aircraft carrier. So that is going to be, I believe, yes, that's going to be this task force, which has the the victorious. And they are going to make their way here in an attempt to intercept the Bismarck as it attempts to get to this rendezvous zone. This does not have a star result, so there isn't like an attempt to coordinate here. So we are going to, in this case, they will do a naval search. So there is a 5 is the length of the trajectory, and there are no modifiers to this roll. So this is just a straight roll on that table. A 10 is, that's a good result. That's a contact, and it turns the Germans into a station. And we will put a contact marker on the Bismarck. Now, this is a pretty beefy task force, so I don't really want to end up in a battle with this task force, unfortunately. And then the British will time lapse, it being bad weather. And the British will essentially also become a station here in this hex. Oh dear. Okay, so with the naval search, that's C's initiative. That isn't going to do it. So we increase the German tally marker by 1, and now we are rolling on the British action table, +1 for the dispersed convoy. So we get a C result. Now, there's a couple of things that are going to be slightly different here, I believe. And let me just check them really quick. Okay, so in some situations, the British will prioritize picking a convoy with a damaged ship in an attempt to get it back to port. But in this case, if there is a convoy, they still prioritize that. So they're going to prioritize this convoy, having been severely mauled by the Bismarck. This convoy is going to try to make its way to Clyde. So they will lay down a set of trajectories like that. And then they can actually attempt to complete. They have only 5 segments. So they can attempt to complete because they have only 5 segments and they don't have an intel trigger. So we will be rolling for C's initiative here, +1. And with that, the Germans seized the initiative. This task force will time lapse, and it being bad weather, they will remove 2 segments. That will take the contact marker with it. But initiative passes over to the Germans. This is definitely a fortunate result for the Germans here. Now, the Germans start the turn as a station in a hex with a rendezvous zone. So what that means is I got to roll on the refueling table, which is in the solo playbook. So I'm going to roll here, and then we're going to go look that up. So it's a 5 result. So let me look at what that says. A 5 result on the fueling table in, hang on, weather matters. So it's bad weather. A 5 on bad weather is a G result. Remove the rendezvous marker. There is no other effect. So, but that is still means that I can now complete the game. So that is going to be the Bismarck's intent. So they're going to start with a trajectory action. And they are going to head back to Saint Nazaire. Can remove this. And then they will time lapse. So in bad weather, we will roll a die. Now, real quickly, I'm not going to put it down, but there is an intel marker here. So we are intel limited. So that means we can at most remove 2 segments. But we remove 2 segments, that will take the intel marker off the board. It will take the contact marker off the board. But with that, the initiative returns to the British. So they will come back down here again, and they will roll on the action table. +1, so they get another C result. So this convoy is once again going to attempt to complete. C's initiative. And the Germans once again take the initiative back. So we will, sorry, this is for the weather. That's my roll for the weather, which I continue to forget. And they they roll a 6. So this is all the way back to Clyde. So we will put that there as a station. But the Germans have seized the initiative, and the Germans have 6 segments in this. So now the Germans have the ability to attempt to complete, which is what they are going to do. So, and they do. So that takes the Bismarck off the board. And as we know from last time, once you have 3 or fewer rendezvous markers and the Bismarck is off the board, the scenario ends. So in this case, I get +10 VPs for the hits on the convoy. And that gives me 11, which is, once again, is the highest victory level. So certainly got fortunate here. Again, I would say the British gunnery rolls were, I have to say, really insanely bad compared to the Germans' gunnery rolls. You know, that the Prince of Wales never landed a shot on the Bismarck was definitely unfortunate. Meanwhile, the Bismarck was landing shots on the Prince of Wales. So that was definitely unfortunate. But as you can see, it was a much different game of cat and mouse with the Bismarck in the North Atlantic. You know, I think certainly an airstrike here or there would have made a big difference. A hit on the Bismarck, anything that would have damaged the Bismarck would have made a big difference. So definitely a very different result from the last one, even though the result of the scenario is the same. Definitely like a different path to getting there. So I very much appreciate you tuning back in for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really love Atlantic Chase, so you may see more of it on the channel. In fact, what I may do is I may actually play the other scenario, which is the Bismarck scenario, but from the British perspective, as my my next sort of project, at least solo project. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the series, the video, the channel, and certainly if you are enjoying them, it would be much appreciated if you could subscribe and hit the notification bell. Also, doing things like commenting, liking, and sharing is a great way to help the channel out. And because that helps the videos get found. But I very much appreciate you joining, and we will see you in the next video series.